NCERT Social Science Class 6 Chapter 3 in the Earliest Cities Part 2. Let us get into the chapter now. Food for the people in the cities. We have to know how these people lived and what they ate. Many people grew crops, that is what we know, and the people were farmers. Few people were herders, so they reared animal also. Now these farmers and herders supplied food for craft person, scribe person, that is the person who write on the seals and on the walls, and the rulers. Okay, Harappans group many crops, well, if they were farmers. And what were the crops did they grow? They grew wheat, barley, pulse, peas, rice, sesame, linseed and mustard. Now, a little toy was also found. This toy was replicating a plough, which was a tool to dig in the ground, which were used by the farmers. Now, the original plough was not found because the archaeologists understood that the plough would have been made by wood and it did not survive. And they also found that this place was scarce with rainfall, so some amount of water is needed for the crops to grow, right? So the water was stored and was used for the plant to grow. Now Harappans also reared cattle, sheep, goat and buffalo, so naturally they need water for the pasture for these animals to eat. So they found a pasture near the settlement. In summer, when the water was scarce and the pasture was not there, these animals were taken for distant lands for them to have their food. Now these people also collected fruits, hunted wild animals like antelopes and even caught fishes. When we look closer into Harappan town in Gujarat, the city Dholavira, located in Khadir Bait in Rann of Kutch, was a fertile soil and it had fresh water. So unlike other cities, this city was divided into three parts. Usually it was two parts, right? But here it was three parts surrounded by massive walls. And there was even a gateway for the people to come and go inside the city. And these gateways were used during public ceremonies. That is what they understood. Now, Harappan scripts, which was carved in the stone embedded in wood, was a rare finding. Lothal stood in the tributary of Sabarmati in Gujarat near the Gulf of Kambat. Now, this Lothal was very fertile as well. Precious stones were found. Important place for making objects of stone, shell and metal are these places which were found. What else did they found? They found a city holding seals, ceilings and other clay impressions also of the seal. Bead fabrics were found and even tool making and finished beads were found. Now the seal and ceilings, there was a bag and the packets containing goods were found which were closed by bags, and these bags were tightly tied with a knot, and after that clay was placed on top of the knot with a seal pressing them. This shows the seal was used the same way as we use it today. There was an end to this era of the Harappans. About 3,900 years ago, there was a mystery which happened. People stopped living in these cities. Writing seals, weighing machines were all lost. Raw materials were no more brought from distant land. In Mohenjo-daro, garbage was piled on the streets and even the drains were all ruined, broken. Less impressive houses were built. What the scholars suggest is that the rivers would have dried up, so the people would have migrated. Deforestation would have happened because large amount of fuel was needed for baking the bricks and smelting the copper ore. So all the forests would have been deforested, and the cattle need pastures, right, which was not available. So they would have moved from the city. Other set of people thought that the rulers lost their control. So the important important cities where people abandoned were Sindh and West Punjab. New cities emerged, but that was 1400 years later. When this was happening in Harappa, what else happened throughout the world? There's a place called Egypt in Africa, which was a dry desert. Around 5000 years ago itself, there were kings ruling these places, and they sent their army throughout to distant places to get gold, silver, ivory, timber, and precious stone. Now, in these places, we find huge tombs where the dead body of the kings and queens were buried. These tombs are called as the pyramids, and the dead body are being preserved under this pyramid, and these dead bodies are called as mummies. Large number of objects are also found buried with them. Those are food, drink, cloth, ornament, utensils, musical instruments, weapons, and animals. Sometimes serving men and women were also buried with the rulers. These amongst the most burial places which help the archaeologists to know more about the world. Class 6 Chapter 3 In the Earliest Cities Part 2 is completed. Hope you understood it. Thank you for listening. Please like, share and subscribe. We'll meet in the next chapter.